Hi, it's Teacher Paul. Today I'm giving you two stories in one from this book called The Bippalo Seed and Other Lost Stories by Dr. Seuss. Both stories feature a main character, a boy of course, who doesn't exactly follow the rules and gets into bigger and bigger trouble as a consequence. Both stories end okay, but not until after a lot of worry and trouble. Both stories also have Dr. Seuss's characteristic rhyme and colorful and graphic expressions. The first story is Gustav the Goldfish. I hope you enjoy the story. Gustav the Goldfish by Dr. Seuss. The man who sold Gustav the Goldfish to us had warned us, "Take care when you feed the small cuss. Just feed him a spot. If you feed him a lot, then something might happen, it's hard to say what." That's what the man said, so I tried to take care, just to feed Gus a pinch. But it never seemed fair, 'cause he always looked sad when he gulped down the stuff, and his eyes seemed to tell me, "This isn't enough." Then he'd always blow bubbles, as much as to say, "Come on, don't be stingy, I'm hungry today." Gus had to have food, not a spot, but a lot. No matter what happened, I didn't care what. So finally one day, poor old Gus looked so thin. I took the whole box and I dumped it all in. But the second I did it, I saw I'd done wrong. That fish food, I guess, must be terribly strong. The second Gus ate it, he grew twice as long. He grew twice as thick and he grew twice as wide. Too big for his fishbowl. His tail was outside. He was bursting the glass. He was big as a trout. I grabbed for the rose bowl. I yanked the rose out. My mother's best bowl, but I spilled Gustav in it. But what was the use? 'Cause the very next minute, Gustav was bigger, as big as a shad. And he looked through the glass and he looked mighty mad. And he splashed and he thrashed and he burped and he blew, as much as to tell me, "I blame this on you. This is your fault, 'cause you fed me a lot. Get me out of here quick. Get me out of this spot." To the back of the house, to the kitchen I ran. I needed more water. I filled up a pan. I poured Gustav in it as fast as I could, but he kept right on growing. It did him no good. I poured him from pot into pot after pot, but the faster I poured him, the bigger he got. Then I ran out of pots, but poor Gustav still grew. Oh, it's awful what one box of fish food can do. "Water, more water, he'll die in the air." I raced from the kitchen and up the hall stair, upstairs to the bathroom, and oh, what a climb, 'cause the fish in my arms grew and grew all the time. Each step he kept groaning and rolling his eyes. When I got to the top, he was halibut size. He was almost too big for a fellow to lug, but I got to the bathtub and put in the plug, and I turned on the cold water faucet full blast. "Gustav," I panted, "you're safe now at last." "Gustav," I panted, "this tub ought to do. It holds my whole family. It ought to hold you." But it didn't hold Gustav. He kept right on growing, and soon the whole bathtub was full, overflowing. And my parents, I knew, would be very upset, 'cause the water was making the bathroom quite wet. It was up past my ankles, my knees, past my waist, and I saw Father's shaving brush, toothbrush, and paste bobbing round in the ocean. But what could I do? 'Cause Gustav, my goldfish, still grew and he grew. He was big as a dolphin, a porpoise, a seal. Oh, why did I ever feed Gustav that meal? Just because I was careless and fed him a lot, I would drown in this bathroom, as likely as not. Then bang, with a crash and a terrible roar and a splintering smash, we burst right through the door, and Gustav and I shot into the halls and back down the stairs like Niagara Falls. Then the first thing I knew, we were down in the cellar, and Gustav, my fish, was a gigantic feller. Too wild and too dangerous to handle alone, I needed some help, so I rushed to the phone and quick dialed the number of Mr. Van Buss, the man who sold Gustav the Goldfish to us. "Come over, mister, please. He's big as a whale. He's banging the furnace to bits with his tail." I knew, sighed the man, this would happen one day, and he hung up the phone and he came right away, with a lot of strange bottles tucked into his vest and a thing on his back like a medicine chest. And he took it down cellar and worked underwater on Gustav for more than an hour and a quarter. What he did I don't know, but he must have been wise, 'cause he shrank Gustav back to his regular size. And he said as he handed my fish back to me, "It was mighty hard work, boy, but this time it's free. If it happens again, I shall charge a big fee. So next time take care." And he stalked through the door. Since then I've fed Gustav so much, and no more. Since then I have not fed him more than a spot, 'cause something might happen, and now I know what. The end. Luckily for this boy, Mr. Van Buss was able to change Gustav back to his regular size. Now all the boy has to do is dry and clean the house before his mom gets home. Speaking of cleaning, that is our next story in this doubleheader, The Strange Shirt Spot. Enjoy the story. The Strange Shirt Spot by Dr. Seuss. My mother had warned me, stay out of the dirt, but there I was with a spot on my shirt. My brand new white shirt, and that spot was so sticky it wouldn't shake off. It was gummy and gicky. A terrible spot that was real gooey goo, and brother, I knew what my mother would do. When mother came home and she saw all that dirt, I had to get rid of that spot on my shirt. I hurried upstairs, and from over the tub, I grabbed a big towel and I started to rub. I rubbed at that spot, and I rubbed it real keen. I rubbed it till finally I rubbed the shirt clean. But then I looked and I let out a howl. That spot from the shirt, it was now on the towel. Now I had to get rid of the big spot of dirt that had moved to the towel when it moved from my shirt. I filled up the bathtub, I let it run hot, I took lots of soap and I scrubbed at that spot from 3:15 until 3:45, till finally the spot wasn't there anymore. Now the towel was all right, it was perfectly white. My troubles were over. But, oh no, not quite, for the spot that had moved from my shirt to the towel was now on the tub. I was sore as an owl. What kind of a spot was the spot I had found, the way the darn thing kept on jumping around? Now the tub needed cleaning. I ran from the room, I ran to the kitchen, I brought back the broom, and I swept at that spot till I'd swept it away, but everything seemed to be crazy today. For that spot from the tub, from the towel, from the shirt, was now on the broom. This was mighty queer dirt. Had to clean up that broom before mother would find me. I grabbed a big cloth that was hanging behind me. I went at the broom with a wipe and a swipe, then I saw what had happened. I let out a yipe, for that strange and peculiar, mysterious dirt from the broom and the tub and the towel and the shirt was now on the cloth. This was really a mess, for the cloth that I'd use was my mother's best dress. This spot, it was driving me out of my mind. What a spot for a fellow to find. My troubles were growing, the way it kept going. Where would it go next? There was no way of knowing. Oh, how could I stop it? Now what could I do? Then in walked the cat, and the next thing I knew, the cat bumped the dress, and I almost fell flat. For the spot from the dress, it was now on the cat. Then the cat started running all over the place, with me running after, and boy, what a chase. I chased him downstairs, tumbled down the whole flight, but finally I nabbed him. I grabbed him real tight. Then I got an idea. I knew just what to do. I'd put him outside, I'd get rid of the goo. I laughed and I put the cat out through the door. That spot couldn't bother me now anymore. But ow, then I looked and I saw that the dirt had jumped off the cat. It was back on my shirt. Right back where it started, I just couldn't win. And then, at that moment, my mother walked in. And Oh, the fast talking that I had to do. I told her the terrible things I'd been through. With the towel and the tub and the broom and the dress and the cat and the shirt, and she said,
Well, I guess you're lucky you didn't get terribly hurt, but please in the future, stay out of the dirt.
The end. Boy, the second boy sure had a crazy day with his sticky shirt spot. And I'm sure his mother was more relieved that he didn't get hurt that day than she was upset that he got his shirt dirty. In any case, I hope you enjoyed both of these stories from the book, The Biplo Seed. But our book has ended, the story's through. It's been my pleasure to read for you. Another time, another day, another tale will come your way. Thanks for listening.